Welcome to my survey presentation. The survey I produce is based on racism, which is a world issue. Racism is defined as views, practices, and actions reflecting the belief that humanity is divided into distinct biological groups called races. This becomes the term racist because members of a certain race share certain attributes which make that group a whole less desirable, more desirable, inferior, or superior. I had inherited this description from the online Wikipedia. Why don't we start with my survey presentation? My slides are in chronological order from the questions I'd asked. My first question is, what is your gender? The only responses I had given for the surveyors to choose from is pretty simple, and I gave the options of female or male. I feel like I can predict who would do my survey more, either male or female. But I did check my responses so far, and the most responses I received are from females. The second question is, what is your ethnicity? The possible responses are African American, Asian, Caucasian, Hispanic, Native American, or other, which they can specify what their nationality is. This would be a personal question for the surveyors to answer. The answer could vary here and depends on where you are located. In my location, a small town like Listowel, a majority of the surveyors would differ from Kitchener or Toronto. Most of the population here is Caucasian, whereas in Kitchener or Toronto it would be different. The third question is, how old are you? The possible responses are 21 and under, 22 to 26, 27 to 30, or 30 and over. I only gave these possible responses because I feel like the surveyors interested in this survey would be younger. In the past, racism had a huge toll on every different race. So to my knowledge, I feel like I would get many responses from these age groups under 30 years old. The fourth question is, who you surround your social life with? The possible responses were 95% of my friends/colleagues are the same race as me, 75%, 50%, and 40% of my friends/colleagues are the same race as me. This question was one that I was interested in looking at the responses for, and it ties in with the other question of what your ethnicity is. It all depends on where you live, but then it is still totally up to the surveyor's choice to choose who they surround themselves with socially. The fifth question is, I feel comfortable and would be more productive in a learning environment with the responses of a student body of the same race as I am, a student body of different ethnicity, or it doesn't really matter. I gave the surveyors a chance to choose either or, the same race or not, and then the simple, you don't base your environment on race and ethnicity. This could be different because some surveyors may have been raised in a location with one specific race as a population, but still won't care about the environment they are surrounded with. So that's why I included the last in the in-between decision. The sixth question is, where do you think the most crimes occur? This question was supported with responses of a specific race of neighborhood, mixed neighborhoods, or crimes happen equally everywhere. This question was a decision I made to include, even though it is pretty racist to even think about. But it is a good eye-opener to what the surveyors think. I believe that the surveyors had to really think about this one because what if their neighborhood isn't big or too big to even know what their surroundings are like? But after all the answers is totally up to the surveyor and how they believe crimes are served in the world. The seventh question is, would you marry out of your race? With the responses of, I would, but I'm not sure how my family would take it. Yes, I will marry outside my race. Never, that's wrong. I don't think about race in relationships or another option. This question was kind of personal to myself. My parents were both born and raised in Laos in South Asia. Their parents had rearranged my parents' marriage, and they expected me to marry someone who's the same race as I am. But as they grew into the Western era, they really shrugged it off their shoulders. The eighth question is, are stereotypes true? The responses here are yes, not really, a little, no, we are our own product, or other. This question is very universal. There should be no problem answering this one. It's one's own opinion whether you believe it or not about stereotypes, but I believe that most surveyors do label each race as their own kind of stereotype, though we are our own product, because not everyone in their own race are going to follow the stereotype that they are chosen to be. The ninth question is more of a surveyor's opinion. There was no responses, just an explanation of how they felt about the certain question, which was, do you think racism has gone better or worse over time? And explain. I believe most surveyors will say better because we don't live in a world where each country is divided. Our world got better over the time, but we still struggle with a different kind of racism today. And lastly, I thought this question had to be asked during my survey. Have you experienced racism and discrimination? The responses were rarely, sometimes, all the time, never, or other with a specification. This question was necessary for this survey because even if the surveyor didn't experience it first-handly, someone close to them may have. Everyone in their time has came across racism, but this just asks and shows me if it happens often, and in most cases my results it rarely happened, which is a good indication. Overall, I had good outcomes from my survey. I enjoyed reading the 100% anonymous answers. It is totally up to the location you live in and if the surveyors participate in racism and discrimination as well. This really showed me that the surveyors are open and comfortable to do a survey they might not come across, because who would do a survey that asks if you're racist or not?